the eternal revelation and preservation of the Quran. The Quran is the eternal guidance sent by Allah to humanity, the final revelation that completes and confirms the truths of all previous scriptures. It was revealed as a mercy, a light, and a clear path for every generation until the day of judgment. Allah, the Almighty, chose Muhammad, peace be upon him, as his final messenger to convey this perfect guidance to mankind. This revelation was not given arbitrarily, but with complete divine wisdom, addressing every aspect of human life, belief, morality, law, and society. From the moment the first verse was revealed, the Quran became a living miracle, a testimony of Allah's power, knowledge, and mercy. Before the Quran, people lived in a state of ignorance and moral corruption, commonly known as Jahiliyyah. Idolatry, social injustice, and cruelty were widespread. Tribal loyalty often surpassed reason and fairness, leading to oppression, blood feuds, and exploitation. Women were deprived of rights, orphans were neglected, and the weak were frequently abused. People worshipped stones, trees, idols, and celestial bodies while denying the true Creator. Yet remnants of the pure monotheistic faith of Prophet Ibrahim alayhis salam still existed, albeit mixed with customs, innovations, and corrupt practices. Allah, in His wisdom, sent the Quran as the final correction, illumination, and complete guide for humanity, ensuring that His message would be preserved until the end of time. Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace be upon him, born in the year of the elephant in Makkah, was known for his honesty, trustworthiness, and noble character. From an early age, he demonstrated virtue, compassion, and a moral consciousness that distinguished him from his contemporaries. He was called Al-Amin, the trustworthy, because of his unwavering reliability and integrity. Allah had prepared him through his innate character and upbringing to bear the immense responsibility of prophethood. He avoided all forms of idolatry, immoral behavior, and injustice. His heart was pure, and his mind was open to guidance, qualities that made him the perfect vessel for the revelation. As Muhammad, peace be upon him, grew older, he became increasingly distressed by the corruption and ignorance surrounding him. He disliked idolatry and the injustices of his society, feeling a deep yearning for truth and guidance. He often withdrew from social gatherings, seeking solitude and reflection. These periods of contemplation were spent primarily in the cave of Hira, where he worshipped Allah in devotion and pondered the state of humanity. The word Hira itself signifies searching, and these retreats became the foundation for his spiritual preparation. Allah, in His mercy, shaped the heart of His messenger, gradually preparing him for the responsibilities of conveying the Quran to mankind. At the age of 40, during the blessed month of Ramadan, Allah chose Muhammad, peace be upon him, to receive the first revelation. While in the cave of Hira, the angel Jibril, peace be upon him, appeared to him and commanded, Iqra, read. The prophet, peace be upon him, being unlettered, replied that he could not read. Jibril embraced him firmly, releasing him only to command again, repeating this sequence 3 times. Finally, Jibril recited the opening verses of Surah Al-Alaq, emphasizing the creation of mankind, knowledge, and the generosity of Allah. This event marked the commencement of revelation, the beginning of the Quran's divine journey. These initial verses laid the foundation for the Quran's guidance, highlighting knowledge, the act of creation, and the command to read and learn. The prophet, peace be upon him, returned home trembling and fearful, overwhelmed by the magnitude of the encounter. He sought cover, calling out to his wife Khadijah bint Khuwaylid, may Allah be pleased with her, for protection. Khadijah, a woman of wisdom and deep faith, comforted him and reassured him of Allah's protection. She reminded him of his honesty, noble character, and integrity, asserting that Allah would never forsake or disgrace him. Her support became a source of immense strength, and Allah's mercy shone through her encouragement. This early support fortified the Prophet, peace be upon him, preparing him emotionally and spiritually for the path of prophethood. Khadijah then took him to her cousin, Waraqah ibn Nawfal, a learned man who had studied the previous scriptures. Upon hearing the Prophet, peace be upon him, describe the event, Waraqah confirmed that the angel who appeared to him was indeed the same angel who came to Musa, peace be upon him. Waraqah also informed him of the trials he would face from his people. He assured Muhammad, peace be upon him, that he would encounter rejection, hostility, and persecution, but that he was indeed chosen for prophethood. This meeting solidified the Prophet's understanding of his mission and prepared him to face the immense responsibilities that lay ahead. Following this first revelation, there was a period of pause during which the Prophet, peace be upon him, yearned for further guidance. Gradually, revelation continued with instructions commanding him to stand, warn, and purify himself. Each subsequent verse addressed the spiritual, moral, and social challenges that he and the early Muslim community would face. Allah's wisdom in revealing the Qur'an over 23 years allowed the believers to absorb, understand, and implement the guidance gradually, strengthening their faith and character. During the early years, the Prophet, peace be upon him, called people to Islam secretly. He began with his closest companions, including Khadijah, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zayd ibn Haritha, and Abu Bakr. May Allah be pleased with them. These early converts, known as the pioneers, as-Sabiqun, became the foundation of the Muslim community. Despite their small numbers and the hostility of Makkah's elite, their faith was steadfast. Abu Bakr invited others to Islam, and through him, more individuals embraced the true faith. These early Muslims demonstrated courage, patience, and devotion, enduring hardships for the sake of Allah's guidance. The Quran, revealed gradually, addressed every aspect of human life. It emphasized pure monotheism, moral integrity, justice, compassion, and social reform. It corrected false beliefs, established rights for women, orphans, and the oppressed, and guided the believers in worship, law, and interpersonal conduct. These instructions challenged the entrenched practices of Makkah's elite, who benefited from the prevailing social order and idol worship. Despite opposition, the Prophet, peace be upon him, remained patient, showing exemplary conduct and moral strength, always guided by divine revelation. The early Muslims faced intense trials. Some were tortured, others exiled, and many faced economic and social pressures. The Quran provided them with comfort and reassurance, reminding them of Allah's support and the transient nature of worldly trials. Stories of previous prophets were revealed to encourage perseverance and patience. The Prophet, peace be upon him, endured personal grief, including the loss of his beloved wife Khadijah and his uncle Abu Talib during the year of sorrow. Yet he remained steadfast, embodying the principles he conveyed to his followers. Even in times of hardship, Islam continued to spread. The migration to Medina marked a pivotal moment. In Medina, the Quran continued to guide the community, establishing laws for worship, family, society, and governance. It addressed disputes, organized battles, and regulated social conduct, always emphasizing justice, compassion, and obedience to Allah. The Quran provided a blueprint for creating a balanced and harmonious society, where the weak were protected, rights were preserved, and morality was upheld. The Prophet, peace be upon him, ensured the preservation of the Quran. He memorized each revelation and instructed his companions to do the same. Many became hafiz, committing the Quran to memory. Additionally, scribes wrote down the revelations on various materials, including palm leaves, bones, and parchments. Each verse was carefully arranged according to divine instruction. Verification was ensured through cross-checking between oral and written transmission. This meticulous process preserved the Quran accurately during the Prophet's lifetime. Every Ramadan, the Prophet, peace be upon him, reviewed the Quran with Jibril, peace be upon him, reinforcing its correctness. In the final year of his life, this review occurred twice. This ensured that the Quran was complete, accurate, and ready for preservation by the Muslim community. After the Prophet's passing, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, fearing the potential loss of memorized portions during the battles, commissioned the compilation of the Quran into a single manuscript. Zayd ibn Thabit was entrusted with this task. He collected the written materials, cross-referenced them with memorized versions, and meticulously verified each verse. During the caliphate of Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu, as Islam spread, differences in recitation emerged due to dialectal variations. To protect unity, Uthman ordered standardized copies to be prepared from the original manuscript. Other versions were withdrawn to prevent disputes. These standardized copies were distributed to major Islamic regions. This ensured the Quran's integrity, unity, and continued preservation across the growing Muslim world. The Quran is a linguistic and literary miracle. Its eloquence, structure, and meaning challenged even the most skilled Arabs of the time. It is neither poetry nor ordinary prose. Its verses convey profound wisdom, moral guidance, and divine knowledge, all in a unique style that cannot be imitated. The Quran addresses humanity across time and place, offering guidance, reassurance, and solutions to human challenges. Its universality and consistency testify to its divine origin. The Quran continued to guide the early Muslims through every aspect of their lives. It was revealed progressively, addressing immediate concerns, spiritual development, and social reform. Each revelation was perfectly timed to respond to the challenges faced by the Prophet, peace be upon him and his followers. Allah's wisdom in gradual revelation ensured that the nascent Muslim community could implement guidance step by step, transforming their hearts and preparing them for the trials ahead. This method of incremental instruction demonstrates the unparalleled wisdom of Allah and the comprehensive nature of the Quran as a manual for life. The Quran emphasizes the oneness of Allah, Tawheed, establishing that there is no deity worthy of worship except Him. It calls humanity to submit, obey, and seek guidance from their Creator. From the earliest revelations, the Quran underscored the principles of justice, truth, and morality. It commanded honesty in trade, kindness to parents, care for orphans, fair treatment of women, and compassion for the weak and oppressed. These principles were revolutionary at the time, challenging deeply ingrained societal norms and confronting established powers who profited from injustice and oppression. The revelations also addressed spiritual development. guiding the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his followers in worship, character, and ethical conduct. Daily prayers, fasting, zakah, charity, and pilgrimage were prescribed gradually, allowing the community to adapt and internalize these acts of devotion. Prayer as a direct connection to Allah nurtured the believer's soul, fostering humility, patience, and mindfulness. Fasting taught self-restraint and empathy for the needy, while zakah encouraged social responsibility and redistribution of wealth. The pilgrimage to Makkah unified Muslims and reaffirmed the principles of equality, humility, and devotion. The Qur'an repeatedly emphasized moral rectitude, patience, and perseverance. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was instructed to remain steadfast despite ridicule, hostility, and persecution. Stories of previous prophets, such as Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and Yusuf, were revealed to provide lessons, moral guidance, and encouragement. These narratives highlighted divine justice, the importance of faith, and the triumph of truth over falsehood. Believers were reminded that patience, trust in Allah, and adherence to His guidance would ultimately lead to success in this life and the hereafter. The early Muslims faced intense challenges. Quraysh leaders opposed the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companions, using threats, economic sanctions, social ostracism, and physical abuse to suppress the message. Despite the hardships, the Muslim community remained resilient. Allah's guidance through revelation strengthened their resolve and provided solutions for both spiritual and practical difficulties. The Qur'an instructed them on how to respond to oppression with wisdom, justice, and patience. They were reminded that trials were a test from Allah and that ultimate victory belonged to the faithful. In addition to spiritual guidance, the Qur'an offered profound legal and social reforms. It granted women unprecedented rights for inheritance, divorce, and protection from abuse. It established the sanctity of life, prohibited unjust killing, and emphasized fairness in legal proceedings. Economic practices were regulated, ensuring honest trade and prohibiting exploitative interest. Social relationships were reformed, promoting community cohesion, mutual respect, and accountability. These changes transformed the social fabric, building a society rooted in justice, compassion, and obedience to Allah. The Qur'an also addressed issues of warfare, diplomacy, and communal conduct. Believers were instructed to defend themselves, protect the oppressed, and maintain ethical conduct even during conflict. Guidelines ensured that non-combatants were not harmed and that the principles of justice and mercy were upheld. Warfare was only permitted for defense or to restore justice, never for conquest or oppression. These instructions demonstrate the Qur'an's comprehensive guidance for human behavior, covering all aspects of individual and societal life. Scientific signs and natural phenomena mentioned in the Qur'an also illustrate its divine origin. It speaks of the heavens and the earth, the creation of life from water, and the development of humans in the womb. These truths, revealed 1,400 years ago, were unknown to humanity at the time, yet later confirmed by modern science. The Quran mentions the expansion of the universe, the protective nature of the atmosphere, and the formation of iron in space. It accurately describes embryonic development, the structure of mountains, and the balance of oceans and fresh waters. These descriptions attest to Allah's omniscience and the miraculous nature of the Qur'an. The Qur'an's literary and linguistic miracle remains unmatched. Its style, rhythm, and eloquence are unique, neither poetry nor ordinary prose. Its words convey meaning, emotion, and divine instruction with perfect harmony. Even the greatest linguists of the time were amazed at its unmatched beauty. The Qur'an challenged humanity to produce a single chapter like it, yet none could. Its language captivates, educates, and guides, demonstrating the divine source of its revelation. The Qur'an also contains numerical and structural miracles known as tawafuk. Certain words, names, and verses appear in patterns and alignments that are mathematically precise. For instance, the word Allah appears 2,806 times, Rasul 167 times, Rab 846 times, and these occurrences show symmetry and alignment across the text. Such precise patterns could not have been produced by human design and highlight the miraculous nature of the Qur'an. Memorization played a crucial role in preserving the Qur'an. Thousands of companions memorized the entire Qur'an, becoming Hafiz. Their memorization, combined with written documentation, ensured that the Qur'an remained unaltered. Even after the Prophet's passing, the community continued this tradition. The compilation by Abu Bakr, the safeguarding by Hafsa, and the standardization by Uthman ensured that all copies matched perfectly. Today, Muslims worldwide read and memorized the same Qur'an exactly as revealed, demonstrating Allah's promise of preservation. Indeed, it is we who sent down the Qur'an, and indeed, we will be its guardian. Surah Al-Hijr 15:9. The Qur'an's guidance is eternal, transcending time, culture, and place. It speaks to all humanity, addressing moral, spiritual, social, and legal concerns. Its message balances the material and spiritual needs, encouraging moderation, justice, compassion, and devotion. It provides solutions for individuals and communities, guiding them toward righteousness and success in both this world and the hereafter. The Qur'an, as the final revelation, continued to guide the Muslim community in every stage of life. Its verses provided clear directives, encouragement, and correction, ensuring that the believers could navigate both personal and societal challenges according to divine wisdom. Every instruction was purposeful, guiding humanity toward obedience to Allah, moral uprightness, and spiritual development. Through its revelations, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught patience, resilience, and trust in Allah, reinforcing that every trial is part of a greater divine plan. The Qur'an's guidance was not limited to spiritual matters. It encompassed social justice, economic fairness, family rights, and international relations, offering a comprehensive blueprint for a righteous life. The Prophet, peace be upon him, exemplified the Qur'an's teachings in his own life. His actions, character, and decisions reflected the principles of the Qur'an, serving as a living model for his followers. This practical application of divine guidance established the Sunnah as an essential complement to the Qur'an. The Sunnah, encompassing his sayings, actions, and approvals, clarified and expanded upon the Quranic instructions. Through the Sunnah, the Prophet, peace be upon him, demonstrated the implementation of prayer, fasting, zakah, and pilgrimage, as well as the ethical treatment of others, ensuring that guidance was accessible and applicable in daily life. During the early years, the Muslim community faced intense persecution in Makkah. The Qur'an instructed believers to remain patient, avoid retaliation beyond limits, and trust in Allah's plan. The stories of previous prophets illustrated that adversity is inevitable, but divine support and ultimate justice prevail. Believers were reminded that the hereafter is the true abode and that suffering in this world is temporary. These lessons reinforced perseverance, courage, and reliance on Allah, transforming fear into steadfast faith and empowering Muslims to endure trials with dignity and faithfulness. The Quran emphasizes the importance of knowledge, education, and reflection. The first revelation commanded, "Read in the name of your Lord who created," Surah Al-Alaq 96:1, establishing the principle that learning and understanding are acts of worship. Muslims are encouraged to seek knowledge, ponder creation, and reflect on signs in the heavens and the earth. This pursuit of knowledge is coupled with humility, ethical conduct, and the understanding that ultimate knowledge belongs to Allah alone. Scholars who dedicate their lives to studying the Qur'an and applying its principles contribute to the spiritual and intellectual growth of the community, maintaining the legacy of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Social justice and equality are central themes in the Qur'an. It teaches that all humans are equal before Allah, regardless of race, lineage, or social status. The Qur'an abolished oppressive customs, established women's rights, and protected the weak and marginalized. Inheritance laws, marriage regulations, and legal protections ensured fairness and compassion. The Qur'an also addressed economic practices, prohibiting exploitation, usury, and dishonesty. Through these teachings, society was restructured to reflect divine justice, demonstrating that faith and morality are inseparable from social responsibility. The Quran also guides governance and public administration. It provides principles for leadership, consultation, shura, accountability, and ethical governance. Leaders are reminded to rule with justice, mercy, and integrity, ensuring the well-being of their people. Public welfare, protection of rights, and equitable distribution of resources are emphasized, reflecting the Qur'an's holistic approach to societal guidance. These instructions were exemplified by the Prophet, peace be upon him, in Medina, where he established a model society based on consultation, justice, and obedience to Allah. Worship in Islam is deeply intertwined with daily life, character, and social conduct. The Quran prescribes acts of devotion while emphasizing sincerity, humility, and reflection. Prayer, salah, nurtures spiritual connection. Fasting, song, cultivates self-discipline. Zakah promotes social justice, and Hajj fosters unity and devotion. The Quran emphasizes that these acts are not merely rituals, but transformative practices that shape character, morality, and social interaction. By following these commands, believers attain spiritual elevation, ethical integrity, and community cohesion. The Qur'an's preservation is unparalleled. The meticulous memorization, hifz, by companions, and the recording of revelations ensured its authenticity. Verification processes maintained accuracy, and the compilation by Abu Bakr, safeguarding by Hafsa, and standardization under Uthman ensured a consistent and reliable text. Today, Muslims worldwide read, recite, and memorize the same Quran exactly as revealed, fulfilling Allah's promise. Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed, we will be its guardian. Surah Al-Hijr 15:9. This divine protection confirms the Quran's eternal guidance for all humanity. Scientific signs within the Quran continue to demonstrate its miraculous nature. It accurately describes the creation of the universe, the origin of life, embryonic development, and the structure of the earth, seas, and skies. These descriptions, revealed 1,400 years ago, anticipated discoveries of modern science. Such precise knowledge, unknown at the time, attests to Allah's omniscience and the divine source of the Quran. Believers are reminded that reflection upon these signs strengthens faith and understanding of the Creator's wisdom and power. The Quran also addresses moral and ethical development. It instructs believers to speak truthfully, act justly, forgive others, and avoid arrogance, pride, and injustice.